Coming up on City Spotlight, we're in the second half of Season 11 of City Spotlight, and we're back in Champaign for a second time as we talk for the first time about Parkland College. We'll talk with the president of Parkland College, Dr. Pamela Lau. We'll learn a little bit about Pamela and why she's been at Parkland College for 30 years. Pamela will give us an overview of Parkland College, its facilities, and academic areas, and Pamela's goals for Parkland College moving forward. We're talking another higher ed institution in Central Illinois, Parkland College in Champaign, next on City Spotlight.
It's almost impossible to imagine life without internet today. It keeps us connected to work, school, and loved ones, no matter where they are. Fidium Fiber Internet now serves over 1 million locations, providing reliable, consistent service that keeps these connections strong. From vibrant cities to quiet rural areas, fiber broadband is a key driver of economic growth. Fidium is dedicated to supporting communities and enhancing lives through this essential technology. Learn more at fidiumfiber.com.
And hello and welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. As you can see, we are inside for this episode. We are taping for a second time in Champaign and our first time at Parkland College. Yes, another community college being featured here on City Spotlight. And to help us out in this episode that will be featured all about Parkland College, we welcome first time to the program, the president of Parkland College, Dr. Pamela Lau. Pamela, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today.
Appreciate it very much. As we tape here, beginning of February 2025, grateful to be back in Champaign and taping at Parkland for our first time. Before we talk all about this campus here on the northwestern part of Champaign, Pamela, tell us about yourself, please.
Well, how long do I have? Well, I'm happy to serve as the president of Parkland College, and I'm actually I've just started my third year as the president of this good college. I have been associated with Parkland for quite a while, a very long tenure here. Mm-hmm. I started way back in 1995.
Wow.
I came to Parkland as a part-time faculty member teaching developmental reading. Mm-hmm. The truth is that I actually had no idea what a community college was all about.
Really?
A church friend who was teaching part-time in developmental reading, she was going to fully retire, and she called and she said, you know, I'm going to retire and travel with my husband, and if you would be interested in teaching part-time at Parkland, I can, talk to the program director and see if there was a place for you. And I said, it turned out that my husband and I both came. Connie Hosier, she was the program director then, and she welcomed us, and we talked, and she offered me a few sections to teach in August of 1995. So that was how I first started.
Okay.
Connie took a risk to take a newbie who had never taught at community college, but she figured that I might be able to connect well with the students who come in underprepared for college level reading. And I always say to people, I came, this was a gig, it was to supplement income, and I had no idea what a community college is all about, but I came and I drank the Kool-Aid, and I have not left.
You have drank that Kool-Aid very much so for 30 years. Congratulations.
Yes.
It is an impressive thing in this day and age, whatever profession it may be, to hear of a person being at one place for that long. I'm very proud of my favorite baseball player, played for my favorite team for all of his 20 years. For you to be at this institution for 30 years, what does that mean to you?
This is a place that has allowed me to grow professionally, and I like to start first off by saying that the reason why I said there was Kool-Aid to be drunk and I drank it, the Kool-Aid has to do very much with the mission of the community college, that here we are we offer opportunities for post-secondary education and training, and we don't care what your background is. We don't care what your age is.
Right.
But if you're interested, we welcome you in and we take you from where you are, and we want to help you to get you to wherever you want to go. And that meant a lot to me. I was born in Singapore, raised in Singapore.
Right.
I went through the education system in Singapore. And in Singapore, you had to be really smart, so to speak, to get into post-secondary education, right? To go to university and get a degree. Whereas the open admissions concept was different for me. And I like that a lot, the egalitarian approach. And it wasn't just the mission of Parkland that made me want to stay, but it was the people that worked here. People here genuinely want to work with students, whether they are in the classroom as faculty, whether they're on the student services side supporting the faculty from the outside. I felt that I was here with a community of people that truly are interested in the success of students that come from all over our district. And it doesn't matter what their background is, the economic background, the academic background. We serve a broad range of students, and that was what made me want to stay.
You work with people that you lead, that your staff or your faculty. It's an opportunity for them to teach. They want to be here, and it's also an opportunity for the students to come here and further their education.
Yes, right. Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you for that introduction about yourself, and let's get an overview of Parkland College, located here on the northwestern part of Champaign, Illinois. Let's get a little history of this community college. When did it all get started?
Okay, so way back, about 60 years ago.
Wow.
There was actually across the country, right?
Yes.
And it was at a time when there was, this is sort of the thing that people say, every week across the country there'll be the opening of at least one community college.
Probably.
Right. So in 1965, the Illinois legislature, they passed a bill called the Illinois Public Community College Act. And as a result of that, there was authority granted to whichever areas wanted to open a community college. So here in East Central Illinois, the history annals tell me that about 54 people were on a committee.
Okay.
There were residents of this area. Some of them were school officials, and they got together and they said, we want to form in what was called in those days the junior college.
Junior college,
right?
yes.
So they voted a year later after the law granted the authority to do so. And so they said, we want to form a community college. So in 1966, they said, let's go. And then by 67, Parkland College opened. And we actually borrowed facilities and buildings in downtown Champaign.
Right.
So I hear stories of we were in the church basement. There's a restaurant now called Guido's, and we were on the upstairs of Guido, right? And so we
because you didn't have a formal campus yet.
No campus yet, right? So all of that spread all over in downtown, and I still meet some alums that tell me that we started. I was there at Parkland right at the beginning. And the campus here of Bradley Avenue was built, and we moved in 1973. September 11th, 1973.
Very good.
We started with 4,500 students.
Wow.
And that was the start of Parkland College.
You talking about the very beginning, obviously these community college didn't have formal buildings. Down where I'm at in Charleston, Mattoon area, I've heard of the stories of how Lakeland College got started as they built the campus. They had their various classrooms in the various buildings in Mattoon. So I was getting images of that. So
yeah, I think a lot of us started that way.
Yes,
right?
you did, because you didn't have a formal campus,
Right.
but now you have a formal campus. Very good. Let's talk about how this campus has evolved. I'll be very honest. It's been a while since I've been to Parkland. I lived here for a handful of years. I worked in the commercial TV world, worked in Champaign. So it's been a long time since I've been to Parkland's campus here on the northwestern part of Champaign. Tell me how the campus, you've seen it for the last 30 years. Broad question, how has it evolved physically?
So as I look back at some of the history of it, some of it there were additions to the building before I came. So the old building had many wings, and a wing was added a little bit later. Then I think in the 1980s we added the Parkland Theater, where there are a lot. We still have a lot of performances, and the community
Yes.
really loves coming.
A school of higher would not be complete without some kind of theater.
Right. And then, of course, in addition to that, we have the planetarium. We have the second largest planetarium in the state.
I remember that.
Yes. And a lot of school kids will tell you, if they know anything about Parkland College, it's because they came at least
one
on
or two field trips when I was younger. Yes.
Yes, right. To the planetarium. Those were opened in mid-1980s. Then in 2002, we had an additional wing open, and it now houses a lot of our social science classes. We also then added on the outside of the main building. So when we first started, that was just one set of main buildings, all
Correct.
interconnected, so you didn't have to go outside.
Right.
But then in the 2000s era, we had the Tony Noel Ag Technologies Application Center, and then a few years later we extended that so that we could house the diesel power equipment and the Case New Holland program there, ag technicians. And then a little bit later we added some art buildings, and then 2012 we opened the Park Hill Applied Technology Center for manufacturing, for automotive. So a lot of that grew.
Yes.
And then this building where we're at.
We're in the Student Union.
Yes, Student Union, opened in 2014.
Okay, so a decade old.
A decade old.
Wow.
And until then, so the architecture of Parkland is very interesting. And if you are new at Parkland, you will quickly learn, right? There's a perimeter drive and you drive around. But Parkland had no one front door. There were many entrances in, and if you were new to Parkland, you better know which entrance you came in by, because
Correct.
if you went out differently, because there's a circle, you can end up on a different
That
side
seems
of the
to
circle.
be a very common theme amongst community colleges. I've been to multiple ones now for this program, and the circle theme seems to be a community college thing.
Yes, right. So circle is good because you never get lost, because you
Right.
can come back to your point, but then it is also not helpful if you don't have a front door. So actually this was built with that whole sense of we want a front door, and not only do we want a front door, by that time all of our student services, support services were all cramped in one hallway in the older building.
Right.
And this building allowed us to have, a whole floor of, okay, instead of telling you that you have to walk from this office to another, around this corner, down this flight of steps, that we can just say across here, you start here in admissions, you can go here for advising, and that's financial aid, and it's all on that same floor.
Right.
And it allows the student organizations to have a place of their own. So 2014.
What other new additions do you have here to the campus recently?
Okay, 2024. We had ribbon cutting for our newest building. That's the AGCO building. The AGCO company, it's an ag company, and they wanted to house a service technician program here at Parkland. So we got a $5 million gift, and November of 2024, we opened the building. And so that's our newest addition.
Wow, congratulations. You've certainly had the additions through the years. Like a lot of other community colleges, you started in one kind of like block, and then you expand outward like that. So you just kind of listed most of your notable buildings and your most recent one. Do you personally, Pamela, have a favorite building on campus?
Well, it's hard to choose among all your
You
children.
probably love them all, right?
Yeah. I want to say I love them all. I would say on the personal side of it,
Yes.
I have the precious personal memories of the C Wing, the humanities department, because that was where I first entered the building to be interviewed, and that was where my first classes were, that was where my office was.
Good reason to not forget that.
Right, so a lot of close connections with that. And then what we call the D Wing here, I spent many years in what we call the Center for Academic Success, where I stopped teaching in the classroom, but it was a center where it was the nexus of what I call academic and student support outside the classroom for students, and that was in the D Wing. So
good.
One of my favorites. And of course, the front door, to the college right here.
Yes.
And it is a very good, welcoming, it's physically set up so well. It is a good welcome center for students, and that is where my office is now. So I guess you can say it's my current favorite.
Well, I had the map to look and see where I was going, because it has been a long time since I've been to Parkland. I had a young man who was walking to his class. I'm like, is that the student union? Because I think that is. And he's like, he pointed me in the right direction. So the student union looks very modern and new. So very nice. All right, let's thank you for the overview of your campus, the physical components. Let's talk about the people. So you serve many of the counties and communities here in Central Illinois, East Central Illinois. Where else do you get students from besides the folks that may be local to this area? Where else do students come from to attend Parkland?
So actually, when we talk about local to this area, our Community College District 505 is a very big one.
Yes.
I think it's one of the largest community college districts in the state in terms of geographical areas. So we cover almost 3,000 square miles.
That's a lot.
Right, it's a lot. We have lots of bits and pieces of 12 counties.
That's amazing.
So that's quite a spread. So we draw from all of our district, but at the same time, some of our programs have a bigger reach beyond our own district, because we have some unique programs that can draw regionally, not only from other parts of the state, but we can draw from other states too. So for example, our Ford Asset program, it's a program, it's an apprenticeship type program where students come to us and they have sponsoring dealerships. And I do know that quite a few of the dealerships over in Indianapolis will actually sponsor students to come all the way to Parkland.
Wonderful.
Our Case New Holland program is like that. We have the Institute of Aviation where we do pilot training. And again, we draw from all over the state to come here. And we do have a good draw for international students too.
Very nice.
Not in numbers as compared to big universities, but for community colleges in Illinois, about 2% of our students actually are international, and they often hope that they can start here and then transfer on to the university.
Yes, very good. And we're going to talk about that transferring component, because that's a big part of the education experience with a community college. So you just mentioned the number 2%, so I'm going to ask you the number question. We're taping here at the beginning of 2025. Roughly, what is your current enrollment?
Okay, head count, and this is the most recent number that I got this morning. We have 5643, so 5,643 students that are here at Parkland taking what we call credit-bearing classes. So this does not include our adult education students, does not include our community education non-credit-bearing students.
So the number you gave me is not necessarily the bottom or final number. It's one set of many numbers. But that very good. Very good. All right, let's talk about the academic areas that all of these students that enjoy and utilize Parkland. Tell me about some of your academic areas that you have here. Okay.
So as a comprehensive community college, right, we have a few major functions. One of the first set of functions that community colleges were created for is to prepare students for transfer. So the students come to us, and basically when they come to us, while the students have in mind a future major, their primary responsibility while they are at a community college is to actually complete the lower division general education requirements, and then a few more of the courses that will be sort of part of their major before they move forward to a four-year university. So that's a big group of our students. And then the other set of our students that are degree seeking are all what we call career-oriented students. They are preparing to enter into the workforce. Although when I say this, I always say that it doesn't mean that if you take the career route, you will never have a bachelor's degree. There are very many different ways of getting an applied science degree with us, be ready for the workforce, and then to go on to a four-year school or to come back into post-secondary education to earn a bachelor's degree. But we have a lot of students that come to our career programs.
Thank you. Do you have any more recent or newer additional newer curriculum that has been added in recent years to your basic part of your curriculum? Do you have any newer curriculum that's been added?
I don't know if you can call it newer curriculum, but let me
areas of study. There you go.
Of study and outreach. That, as you know, when I first came to Parkland, people just came. But in in the last decade or so, one of the things we realized that that much of our enrollment depends on the partnerships we have with external stakeholders. So let me give you some examples.
Sure.
I think we started talking about transfer students.
Yes.
One of the biggest programs that we are known for is the Parkland Pathway to Illinois, which would be a program, a dual admissions kind of program that we have with the University of Illinois. They pick students that want to start their first 2 years here at Parkland, and they go across. And it started with a few colleges from the university that were participating, and now a lot of the colleges take part, and the students really start with us, and then they go on. And we remain the largest transfer partner to the university.
If I can interject, obviously people understand the role of community colleges. Students come. I have my oldest son is a sophomore at Lakeland College, and so obviously they start out and they do their time at the community college, and then they will hopefully continue their education on it. So what does that mean to Parkland to have that relationship with the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign?
It is a very good partnership. It draws students to us, and the Pathway program that actually the university has pathway programs with quite a few different community colleges. The unique thing about the Parkland program, not only because we started it, we were the pioneers in this, but that the students, while they are at Parkland, get to go across town during their Parkland time to take a class actually at the university campus.
Wonderful.
And they pay Parkland tuition rates for that one class. But it actually is a very important facet of making sure that the transition is seamless. Now, they can stay in university housing, they can participate in some activities at the university while they are here. And so that kind of programming has allowed for the hoped for outcomes, that students will transfer, that they will experience a seamless experience, and that because we bring in a greater diversity of students from all across the diversity spectrum, into community college, and that we prepare them well and they go across. So that's one thing that we do. And that's very helpful. But the university is not the only place. So a lot of our students come to us, and they will transfer to Eastern Illinois. I think Eastern Illinois University is probably the second largest destination for our students.
Geographically,
yes.
Obviously it's not minutes away like University of Illinois, but it is in the same East Central Illinois. Yes.
So you don't have to find a different place to stay, because remember, 62% of our students are part-time. So they not only have family responsibilities, they have employment, so that when they're thinking about
commuting.
So when they're thinking about transferring, it is much easier to think of a nearby institution. So EIU.
So for example, in my personal life, I lived for a handful of years in Tuscola. So you may have an older student that lives in Tuscola, and maybe they work in X place and they go to Parkland.
Right.
Very good. You have in our last 5 minutes or so, Pamela, appreciate your time here on City Spotlight. You want to talk at all about your staff, because obviously the students got to learn from someone, and you obviously have a staff here that, as you said, they want to be here to educate the students that are here.
The people here at Parkland are wonderful. And the reason why I've stayed all these years, like I've said, is because people are committed. And at every level, we've been very fortunate that we have attracted people to come work with us because they believe in the mission of community college. And then, I mentioned that we do outreach to a lot of places. And so it is the staff and not me alone that connects with, whether it's with high schools to get our early college and career academy going, whether it's to connect with employers so that we can set up apprenticeships for students. All of this allows us to connect well, and it's because the staff are innovative, they're willing to do that outreach, and then when the students come, to ensure that they stay and that we can retain them and so that they can be successful.
2 more questions for you, Pamela. Again, appreciate your time, taking a few minutes out of your day, your busy day as a higher education president. This episode is on Champaign, but we are at Parkland College. What does it mean for Parkland College to be a part of the Champaign community?
I think we contribute in so many different ways, right? The vibrancy of a community has a lot to do with the people that live here, and a community college, and Parkland is a community college, that we are here to actually provide different ways to open pathways to sustainable life wages through our programming. And that's a very important part of helping everyone in the community to reap the fruits of being a vibrant community. And we are very pleased to be part of that.
Not asking you to picture your crystal ball as I end this interview with you. What does the future hold for Parkland? I hope we have many more times to sit down and talk about Parkland College, and maybe I interview other people in addition to you, but look forward to talking with you again down the road. What do you see as the next step for Parkland College here as we tape here at the beginning of calendar year 2025?
You know, as we look down, and a lot of people are talking about the demographic cliff that is coming and the lesser enrollments. Here at Parkland, we are looking very much to see how we can reach sectors of our community that have never considered post-secondary education, not only because we want the enrollments, which we do, but at the same time to help people see that the training opportunities that we offer can get them on career pathways to life-sustaining wages. And so as we look forward to the next decade, you will see us do a lot of outreach to people to make them aware of what we offer, as well as to employers to show them how we can upskill their workers too, so that we are a win-win-win kind of partnership with the community.
I think that's a great way to end our interview. The president of Parkland College, Dr. Pamela Lau, appreciate your time here on City Spotlight. It's great to come back up to Champaign and feature another excellent community college here in Central Illinois. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
That'll wrap up our latest episode here in Champaign. As we've talked Parkland College in this whole episode, let's take a look at some of our upcoming activities going on in Champaign.
It's almost impossible to imagine life without internet today. It keeps us connected to work, school, and loved ones, no matter where they are. Fidium Fiber Internet now serves over 1 million locations, providing reliable, consistent service that keeps these connections strong. From vibrant cities to quiet rural areas, fiber broadband is a key driver of economic growth. Fidium is dedicated to supporting communities and enhancing lives through this essential technology. Learn more at fidiumfiber.com.